Picture this. You wake up tomorrow, jump in your car, and within 12 months, almost everything about driving in Britain has changed. What you're allowed to drink before you drive, how much you pay to enter London, whether your own eyesight could cost you your license, and even whether the car next to you has a human behind the wheel at all. This isn't a distant sci-fi future. It's happening right now in 2026, and most drivers have no idea how much is shifting under their feet. So if you own a car, lease one, or even just sit in the passenger seat from time to time, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's coming, when it lands, and how it's going to hit your wallet. Let's start with the change that's been making the most noise. Drink driving. For years, the limit in England and Wales has sat at 80 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood, one of the most lenient limits in Europe. That's now on the table for a serious cut. The government has proposed a significant tightening, with new drivers and those who've recently passed their test facing a much stricter limit of around 20 milligrams. Why now? Because since the last major road safety strategy back in 2019, more than 8,000 people have died on UK roads, and the government wants to cut deaths and serious injuries by 65% by 2035. That's not a small ambition. That's a complete rethink of how seriously Britain treats drink driving. And it's not just younger drivers who are being asked to prove they're fit to be behind the wheel. If you're over 70, listen closely. There are now proposals for mandatory eye tests every 3 years for drivers in this age bracket, with around 6.3 million license holders over 70 currently on the road. Right now, older drivers simply self-certify that their eyesight is fine when they renew their license. No proof required. That's about to change, and some proposals go even further, suggesting healthcare professionals should be legally required to report to the DVLA if a patient is no longer fit to drive. For an aging population, this is one of the biggest safety shifts in a generation. Now let's talk about something that affects every single person in the car, not just the driver: seatbelts. At the moment, if you're caught without one, you're looking at a fine annoying, but it stops there. That's changing. New proposals would add penalty points on top of the fine for both drivers and passengers who don't buckle up. And here's the part a lot of parents don't realize. Drivers can already be held responsible if children in the car aren't properly strapped in. With penalty points now potentially in the mix, that 5-second habit of clicking your belt in just became a lot more important. If you're learning to drive, or you know someone who is, the entire process is being overhauled too. And honestly, it's overdue. Anyone who's tried to book a driving test recently knows the nightmare of bots and resellers snapping up slots and flogging them on for double or triple the price. From spring 2026, new rules will ban third-party companies and bots from buying and reselling test slots, stop driving instructors from booking tests on behalf of their pupils, and put limits on how many times a test can be moved or swapped. The goal is simple: shrink the waiting list and put the power back in the hands of the people actually learning to drive. But it's not just about getting a test slot, it's about what's tested too. The theory test itself is being updated with stronger first aid content, including new questions on CPR and the use of automated external defibrillators. Why does that matter so much? Because out-of-hospital cardiac arrest survival in the UK is shockingly low, but it improves dramatically when a bystander knows how to perform CPR and use a defibrillator. So in a strange way, learning to parallel park might soon come with a side order of life-saving skills. While we're on the topic of licenses, there's a quieter revolution happening in your pocket. The government is pushing ahead with digital driving licenses, with a pilot scheme already underway that lets drivers access their credentials through a new gov.uk wallet app on their smartphone, ahead of a fuller rollout expected by 2027. Your physical license isn't going anywhere just yet, but the direction is clear. Your phone is slowly becoming your wallet, your ID, and soon, your driving license too. Now here's where things get expensive, and where electric vehicle owners need to pay close attention, because the EVs are basically free-to-run era is quietly coming to an end. Owners of electric cars registered after April 2025 are now required to pay the full standard vehicle excise duty of £195 a year, the same road tax everyone else pays, and that's only the start. From April 2028, a brand new electric vehicle excise duty will charge EV drivers based on how many miles they actually drive, 3 pence per mile for fully electric cars, and 1.5 pence per mile for plug-in hybrids, with the mileage checked annually, typically at the MOT. It's designed to be roughly half of what petrol and diesel drivers pay in fuel duty. But make no mistake, the free ride for electric vehicles is over. There's a small silver lining for EV buyers, though. The threshold for the so-called luxury car tax, officially the expensive car supplement, is rising from £40,000 to £50,000, meaning fewer electric vehicle buyers will get hit with the extra charge simply for choosing a slightly pricier model. Meanwhile, if you're driving an electric company car, brace yourself. Benefit in kind rates are climbing too, with electric vehicles moving from 3% up to 4% from the 6th of April, 2026. Small percentages, but they add up fast on a fleet of company cars. If you drive into central London, you've probably already felt this one in your bank account. From the 2nd of January 2026, Transport for London pushed the congestion charge up from £15 to £18 a day, the first increase since 2020, and the electric vehicle exemption that used to make EVs essentially free to drive into the zone. That 100% cleaner vehicle discount ended on Christmas Day 2025. Now, electric cars only get a 25% discount, paying around £13.50 a day, while electric vans and HGVs get a 50% discount instead. For daily commuters, that's a real difference, month after month. Then there's the elephant in the room for every driver, electric or not, fuel duty. It's been frozen since January 2011, but recent reporting suggests the freeze holds only until September 2026, after which the long-standing 5 pence cut starts being reversed and increases resume for the first time in 16 years. If you've got a long commute or you're running a business on the road, that's worth watching closely because it directly affects what you're paying at the pump from autumn onwards. It's not just law and tax changing, the cars themselves are about to get cleaner, whether manufacturers like it or not. The zero-emission vehicle mandate has been tightened, requiring all newly manufactured cars and vans to meet Euro 7 emission standards from the 29th of November 2026. These are some of the strictest emissions rules Britain has ever introduced, and they apply across the board, not just to a handful of premium brands. And now for the change that sounds the most like science fiction, but is closer than you think: self-driving cars. The Automated Vehicles Act passed back in May 2024, and it's opened the door for fully self-driving vehicles to potentially appear on British roads during 2026. But before you picture a robot taxi pulling up outside your house next week, there's a serious safety bar to clear first. The Act requires every autonomous vehicle to undergo rigorous safety testing and prove it can match or beat the safety and competence of a human driver before it's allowed anywhere near public roads. The ambition behind it is huge: fewer collisions, fewer deaths, new jobs, and smarter, more connected transport. But it's being introduced carefully, step by step, not as an overnight switch. Even enforcement on the roads is getting smarter. Many areas have rolled out upgraded speed camera systems in 2026 that can detect multiple offenses at the same time, which means the days of getting away with just one quick offense are numbered. And it's not only speed that's under closer watch. Plans are also moving forward to let police use saliva-based roadside drug tests as direct evidence in court, without needing a follow-up blood test every single time, which should speed up prosecution significantly. So step back for a second and look at the whole picture. Stricter drink driving limits for new drivers, mandatory eye tests creeping in for the over 70s, penalty points for unbuckled seatbelts, a complete shakeup of how driving tests are booked, CPR and defibrillator questions in the theory test, digital licenses in your phone's wallet, electric vehicles finally paying their share of road tax, with pay-per-mile charging on the horizon, London's congestion charge climbing, fuel duty creeping back up, Euro 7 emissions rules tightening the net on every new car built, and self-driving vehicles edging closer to British roads than ever before. This isn't one or two tweaks to the highway code. It's the biggest reshaping of how Britain drives in decades, and it's unfolding piece by piece throughout this year and beyond. The honest truth is, most of these changes won't make headlines on the day they happen. They'll just quietly show up. A slightly bigger bill, an extra question on a test, a new charge on your dashboard app. The drivers who come out ahead are the ones who saw it coming, and now you're one of them. If this kind of breakdown helps you stay ahead of what's changing on Britain's roads, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now, because there's a lot more of this coming. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next update. Drop a comment and tell me which one of these changes worries you the most. And share this with anyone you know who drives, because the rules are changing whether we're ready or not. Subscribe to my channel, stay tuned to my channel for everything else dropping soon, and I'll see you in the next one.